Now that Kenny Pickett is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, are the offensive rookies poised for a big breakout season? Hello, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and welcome to the latest episode of your Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate with me, your host, Britsburgh, Owen, speaking to you here in the UK. Well, guys, welcome to the best Pittsburgh Steelers news channel around. If you've not yet subscribed, if you only just found this channel, hit that subscribe button for daily content from myself and Steelers Nation Australia, Mr. Mark Davison. Well, now Kenny Pickett is the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. There seems to be a real sense of optimism, an energy, a spark around the Steelers franchise at this moment in time, particularly around the offensive side of the ball. Now, if we head back to those lazy days of summer, those hazy days of summer, when the team gathered in St. Vincent College for the return to Latrobe for the training camp, one common theme seemed to go throughout that whole training camp, that the Pittsburgh Steelers draft class of 2022 was a very promising draft class indeed. Obviously headed up by this man himself, Mr. Kenneth Shane Pickett, Kenny Pickett, our round one pick at pick 20, a guy who there is exceptionally high standards and exceptionally high things thought of. And this week we'll get his first start. But now that Kenny is there, now that Kenny is in place, and now we have moved away from those hazy days of summer to fall, to the autumn, to the crisp winter days, to the crisp fall days of autumn in Pittsburgh. Is there a sea change about to come the way? Is there a turning of the tide? Is the breeze beginning to blow a different way for our Pittsburgh Steelers? It's October now, guys. We're out of that first month of the season. 4 games down with 13 still to go. And the record, yes, the record is not great, is it? But there are high hopes the record can improve with Kenny at quarterback. There is suggestions, I think, on the wind and afoot that the fortunes of the Steelers rookie class now in the NFL will start to take an upswing, a major change, a breakout, a breakthrough, if you want, and that time for change is coming. That there is a time now when we will move on and we will see the best of this rookie class. Now, Connor Hayward was interviewed this week and he said the following. He said, let's find the right quote. Here we go. He said, oops, wrong quote. He said, here we go. What did he say? He didn't say, here we go, but it'd been good if he did say, here we go, wouldn't it? He said, it's not coming up now. He said along these lines, he said, as a rookie class, we are deep and we are solid. This is what he had to tighten Connor Hayward had to say. He said that it just sometimes it takes time, but time will tell and show a lot of people what we are capable of doing. That's what he was getting at. He was saying that initially, obviously, the Steelers rookies have not really had a part to play in this offense and had quite limited snaps. Probably the only these Steelers rookies, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, who've seen the ball quite a lot in these first few weeks, have been Jaylen Warren and George Pickens. Now, they're the ones who had the main snaps. Obviously, we had DeMarvin Leal on defense as well, who has been a bit part player, has played some part in the defense. Warren, an undrafted rookie, is obviously starting to step up a little bit, and he is taking snaps off Najee to spell Najee, who I don't think is still fully fit, and he is looking very good out of the backfield. He always seems to fall forward. He seems to fight for every last yard, and he seems to bring a bit of a spark when he comes to the ground. Obviously, he's got a little bit of development to go. He has put the ball on the ground once, which was his fault, and obviously that is something that he needs to continue to work on. Now, other than obviously Kenny Pickett and Jaylen Warren, the next man that we all have to think about is that man himself, Mr. George Pickens. George Pickens is a receiver who, well, first few games of the season didn't really have a great deal of targets and didn't really have a chance to establish himself. Then, when Kenny Pickett seemed to take the field, there seemed to be that connection there, that rhythm that emerged between Pickens and Pickett. Pickett to Pickens seemed to be a common theme. And George Pickens went 6 receptions for 102 yards on 17.5 average on Sunday against the Jets once Kenny Pickett was out there throwing him the ball. And this is something that is carrying on from training camp where Pickett and Pickens seem to develop a very good understanding. And this is something obviously that we hope continues this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. But I think with this increased usage, with this increased targeting of a receiver of undoubted talent, a man who would have been a first rounder other than that ACL injury, we have got the potential for a real breakout now from George Pickens to really show the NFL what he is about. And I think realistically establish himself as wide receiver one. for the forthcoming season. Connor Haywood has not seen many snaps. I think it's 11 offensive snaps in total. And he went on to say during his interview that he gave to the Trib, he said, you don't want to give a rookie too much, he said. You want to just slowly ease them into it. It's an 18-week season. So I'm just going to do my job, stay locked in, stay ready for my moments. And that's something that I think will come with time. I think that now that Kenny is there at quarterback, we will start to see Haywood used a little bit more. Haywood and Pickett, again, seem to link up quite effectively over the training camp period and in some of the preseason as well. So there's a good possibility that the Steelers may now start to introduce Haywood onto the offense, and he may start to show those skills that we know that he has got. So obviously there you've got Pickens, you've got Haywood. Who else have you got as well? Well, Connor Haywood went on to say this in the interview. He said, you saw the connection Pickett and GP, George Pickens, had last week. I think I have a really good connection with him too. And Calvin does too. So that's the next guy. Obviously, Calvin Austin III has been on IR. He is now eligible in the next 3 weeks to come back from IR. The Steelers have opened his 21-day window, and there is a strong likelihood, obviously, he will return within that 21-day window, as they will not want to lose him to the rest of the IR for the rest of the season. Again, now I know Calvin Austin III has got that thing about his size, but his speed is electric, and at times he showed the Steelers secondary up in training camp and in practice. Now, Austin III, CA3, is someone who I think can bring a spark, bring some excitement, bring electricity to this offense. And again, he is someone that Pickett sparked up a real link with, a real understanding with during training camp. So I really do feel that this is something that can continue to develop over these next few weeks once Austin returns from injury. So with Austin as well as another receiving option on the offense, it can only go from strength to strength. In effect, by making these three rookies more important and more incremental to this offense, it really can make the Steelers offense move forward and really develop to the potential that it undoubtedly has with those veterans like Freiermuth, like Najee, who are only 2 years in, but they're still, I suppose, count as vets, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Zach Gentry. There are so many weapons there. And in Kenny Pickett, they have finally got someone who knows how to use those targets, knows how to use these weapons. What's really encouraging as well is these rookies are talented guys and they are still only young. There's a good nucleus of a good young team here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by a good young quarterback in Kenny Pickett. Things are looking good for the future for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's something very important to say right now with so much doom and gloom about the Steelers' record. But I really do think that this rookie class of offensive talent could be poised for a breakout now that Kenny Pickett is the quarterback. Well, Steeler Nation, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is the time when we see George Pickens, we see Connor Haywood, and we see CA3 once he returns from injury shine for the Pittsburgh Steelers and show the talent they undoubtedly had? Well, thanks for watching the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. I've been Britsburgh Owen. It's been a pleasure speaking to you guys. Especially speaking to my Steelers brothers and sisters across the ocean in the United States or in Canada or wherever you're picking this video up from. And if you've not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Mark and I are so grateful for all the subscriptions, support and comments that you give us here on the Syndicate. And look out for our post-game show after the Bills game tomorrow when the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Bills. Here we go, Steelers. Come on!